So the Cheeseman case. So you see you can see the subtitle. Well, how one man was so horny he bamboozled the law. So this year was 1990. This year, very recent if you consider all of our legal precedents. It was a case that was taught to me as someone studying my A levels in law at the time. This is also a dramatic recreation of the DPP versus Cheeseman. You can imagine which one is which. Cheeseman's probably King Kong in this situation. One man had a dream. Okay. Cheeseman was a case about how a passenger kept exposing himself to the annoyance of passengers in a public toilet. There's a guy who keeps exposing himself, and we just need evidence to catch this guy, right? He keeps doing it in the same place, and all you have to do is catch him in the act doing it.
Is this an Al Capone situation where they get him on his taxes or something?
You meager fool, you think Cheeseman is at the level of Al Capone? Do you think Cheeseman gets committed in this case? This is the unsanctioned hog. Not to say, by the way, this is condoned action. You shouldn't do that. It's public indecency. Don't be a freak. I feel like I should just say that just to make sure.
How many different ways can you say that for us?
This is not a thing that I condone or that the Swag Academy condones.
I love the images you provided.
Two undercover police officers go in there, then charge him with this indecency, with this exposure. You think it's kind of a very simple, tried and true sort of case. He protests, he appeals, he has to fight it in the court. The outcome of this case was that the defendant appealed successfully because the police officers were not passengers. He wasn't exposing himself to passengers in that instance where he was caught. He was not guilty in the eyes of the law. He was legally untouchable.
I'm just imagining some guy in Parliament with his wig, and he's like, due to the clause of 1652.
It wasn't a clause. This case set precedent. The modern legal system of 1990 was unable to handle this guy.
Man jorking his dork on a public train bathroom.
No, the legal system of the UK, they couldn't find it in their hearts to be like, this man, he committed a crime.
There's a law in the UK where eating a salmon suspiciously on the street is technically illegal.
Yeah. If someone complains about you eating your sandwich suspiciously and you hide in a closet, and then two police officers come along disguised and say, what you doing in there? And you tell them, and then they arrest you by the definitional precedent of this case. You're fine. How is this actually implemented? Does anyone have like an idea of why this kind of interpretation was chosen?
We don't have necessarily the same freedom of speech laws. Like, you can be arrested for things like being a public nuisance, like screaming consistently. That can get you like arrested and things like that. If the crime is reported, then technically it doesn't count.
You're kind of in the right direction of why this was ruled like this.
Coming soon to own on video and DVD.
The official Sir Swag Academy Discord for members only is officially online. This will be a server primarily designed for people to share their own stories with each other, as well as to get into contact with us. The $10 Teacher's Pet tier is also now live. The Teacher's Pet will be able to listen in on our Sir Swag Academy recording sessions live in the Discord server, and they will also have priority replies in YouTube comments and the live chat.
Josh Link Watson once again on Team Boat. Can your plane or tank shoot Sudan-sized rounds like the USS Texas? Also, ships came first.
The $10 Teacher's Pet tier will also have access to special artwork created for the channel by Skipty and Max. And as always, thanks for watching.
There's a lot of rules that we have, like the fin skull rule. It applies to like murder cases. And in those cases, if you punch someone in the head regularly, they're not gonna die. You might give them a bruise, but it's like, hey, you haven't killed them. But the fin skull rule says that like if you punch someone in the head with the intent to punch them and harm them, and their skull was thin enough, that's still you having the intent to like do the murder or manslaughter or whatever. Like, this stuff happens a lot with these very weird particular rules. And this one to me is the wildest one that I've ever seen, because it's like specifically ignoring the intent of what the law's supposed to do to not be guilty, and I don't understand why.
He rolled like several d20s that day.
The literal rule is like, the rule respects parliamentary sovereignty. The judge takes the ordinary and natural meaning of the word and applies it to the case, even if doing so creates an absurd result. And this is the key part as well. Even if doing so creates an absurd result is absolutely fucking crazy. Because in law, you are stating we have this precedent that we are going to take the literal meaning of the law to make it be absurd.
It's like enshrining into law anti-common sense.
It's like the UK in a nutshell, though. It's like there'll be a law passed in 1350, and they're like, "Oh, this is proof that our democracy and our laws have been in practice for so long." Like, it was funny is like people will claim that as their like constitutional right, something that was written 1,000 years ago.
And that's the thing. That thing was made back then, and it was very reasonable and logical for its time. This rule was made 6 years before I was born. I could have been exposed to by this man.
I have two questions. First,
Yeah.
did he continue jerking off after he won?
They don't. He disappears after that. He's like Batman.
He showed up
How do
to
you-
correct the legal system and left.
Was it a crocodile plush in the last like absurd court
yeah,
cases
yeah.
thing? Where it's like, what would the crocodile plush have to say about this?
It sounds bad to say because what he was doing was clearly bad, but based as fuck. Holy shit!
I know. Because
yeah,
this is the
let's-
thing.
so-
He's caught masturbating in a public toilet, which also means like people go out of the way. I think specifically in the case, there's like this idea of the public thoroughfare. The police had to go out of their way to get him, which is crazy because they didn't exactly like make him masturbate in a public bathroom.
I can already picture it though, knowing you like British people. I bet like 90% of people like walk past him and we're like, all right, okay, well that's my day ruined. Okay, continue to the next thing. Like,
Can you really only be convicted of that kind of crime if you're caught in the act?
I think this is the crazy thing that this precedent sets.
I mean, I was at a convention with my college friends, like a nerd convention, pop culture convention type thing. This gentleman was walking around a convention full of cosplayers, right? You know, minors and people my age at the time and whatnot. Like, just in a shirt that looked like he got attacked by a bear. And same with like pants and whatnot. And the dude was just slowly, like, as he was walking, like his pants were just falling down to the point where like he was just exposed to the entire convention area. I literally went out of my way to talk to like the security guards at the convention center, be like, yeah, there's a guy upstairs exposing himself to people. He was just like, oh, whatever, it happens all the time.
I like always remember being told I had to pay my tilly tax. They had someone from the university investigate my apartment, and while I did have a TV system set up, it was set up to my computer. And so I argued that because it was my computer, it was not technically a television, so technically I shouldn't be paying tele tax. And because of that, and the law that they've put in there to apply to computers at the time, they never were able to like charge me for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is just how to defy common sense, which I don't understand setting a precedent for.
Just as Cheeseman, the hero that he might be, exposed himself to the public, we are exposing the unmentionables of the legal systems across the world, because many of them are based on the British system.
He's Lelouch.
He's
He's sacrificed himself for the greater good of the legal system of the UK.
There's literally no force stronger on this earth than one man trying to crank his hog.
What if it's me looking down on me? The world above must also be. This could go on for infinity. Color-coded just to keep me sane. My world is finally starting to take shape. I press the button and it bursts. Don't worry, the world can wait.